Yeah, I saw this video. Maybe this is cool. What the fuck is happening to fast food? By Damon Cassidy.
According to Lending Tree,
Right?
62% of Americans are eating less fast food, as many
Media share, yeah. I should have like it somewhere enabled. Somewhere I have it in OBS. I just have to
prices have
find it.
increased by roughly 60% over the last decade, with McDonald's alone doubling their prices, and with fast food prices far
fast food is supposed to be like cheap.
exceeding
In
the
the
rate of
beginning, it was
inflation,
cheap.
roughly 80% of Americans now view it as a luxury, raising the question, how did the cheapest meals in the country become just another way to fatten shareholders' pockets? While fast food was originally intended to be a quick and affordable alternative for the working class, with McDonald's famously celebrating that a family of 4 could be served in under a minute for less than $1, decades of extreme consolidation have left many of today's largest chains charging roughly $40 to feed the average family, as the industry has fundamentally shifted away from serving customers.
It's like fast food is the same price as like a full like restaurant meal.
Towards extracting as much profit as possible from each meal. One of the largest mechanisms behind this consolidation is franchising, as franchise chains now capture roughly 75% of fast food revenue, despite operating substantially fewer locations than mom-and-pop independents. The adoption of this model accelerated after McDonald's unprecedented expansion throughout the 50s and 60s demonstrated how every new location could generate rent, recurring royalties, and franchise fees, while shifting most of the cost and operating risk onto the franchisee, creating a financial model that nearly every established chain would eventually adopt, as it provided the scale needed to outspend competitors, dominate advertising, secure the most valuable real estate, demand enormous volumes of food at prices smaller operators could never negotiate, and offset declining sales in one market through revenue generated across thousands of global locations. Meaning that instead of local hamburger stands and sandwich shops competing for customers through lower prices and better value, more than 14,000 McDonald's, 7,000 Burger Kings, 6,000 Wendy's, and thousands of Subways, Jersey Mike's, and Jimmy John locations now shape what Americans expect to pay across entire categories of fast food. Today, among the 20 largest fast food chains in America, just 2 were founded within the last 50 years, with not a single one founded in the 21st century. And even across the nation's 500 largest restaurant chains, these same 10 dominant fast food brands account for roughly 44% of all sales. And after using their scale to essentially eliminate local competition, fast food chains have turned towards loyalty programs designed to disguise higher prices as a great deal. A 2025 analysis found that the top 20% of loyalty users generate roughly 55 to 70% of loyalty revenue, spending 2 to 3 times more than the average customer, as every purchase becomes one step closer towards a free reward. In Q1 of 2026, Starbucks announced that reward members generate nearly 60% of all U.S. company-operated revenue, even though earning a free drink or breakfast item can require nearly $200 in purchases. Even McDonald's CEO has acknowledged that loyalty adoption
the CEO that doesn't like the burger
increases both customer visits and spending, effectively proving that the value these chains now provide has essentially nothing to do with quick and affordable food, and everything to do with making customers pay more for the perception of it. And while these chains have somewhat effectively manufactured the illusion of affordability, their market control also allows them to sell substantially lower quality food. Before rampant consolidation, fast food chains relied far more heavily on regional produce, beef, and dairy suppliers, allowing them to compete through freshness and stronger relationships with the communities they served. Today, however, going out to eat is essentially just figuring out which chain can heat up Cisco food better. While the largest chains negotiate more directly with an already consolidated meat processing industry, most major fast food brands rely on Cisco, US Foods, or Performance Food Group, where yet again, despite thousands of independent distributors still existing, these 3 corporations alone control roughly 35% of the food service distribution market, while the 5th largest controls only around 1%. And because these distributors make more money by purchasing enormous volumes of standardized products that can be sold across thousands of locations, they gain immense influence over what chains pay and which ingredients become financially practical to serve at scale, often favoring products designed around consistent margins rather than freshness or regional quality, leaving much of the industry dependent on frozen, pre-portioned, and heavily processed products designed for longer shelf lives, requiring less labor to prepare, and tasting is somewhat the same across thousands of
I know when
locations. Ultimately,
I kind of like almost like we can kind of say like it was first time eating Burger King. I ate there. It was some kind of like chicken burger. I don't know. It tasted so good because I like never tasted it. It was like seasoning and everything was like 10 out of 10. But I remember I got home and I instantly got diarrhea.
Leaving customers to pay record prices for
well, like a day after I got it, like
while receiving the exact same nationally or even globally sourced
like some shit in, and if you are not used to it,
and as if the industry were not already consolidated like enough, private equity has spent decades absorbing many of the same legacy
some kind of
brands
seasoning that
franchising made nearly impossible to compete with. Roark Capital's restaurant portfolio now includes Subway.
McDonald's got also like some years ago they got like a new recipe for everything. I feel like maybe they ruined it.
Carl's Jr.
They don't taste as good. You are right.
And the parent companies behind Dunkin', Arby's, Sonic, Jimmy John's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Baskin-Robbins, Cinnabon, and several other
their Mexican
chains. And then Blackstone recently acquired a majority stake in Tasting Minds
not that
through a
good
deal
anymore.
reportedly valued at roughly $8 billion. Blackstone has openly described franchise businesses as attractive investments because of their scalability, low capital requirements, and steady cash flow growth, allowing private equity firms to acquire established chains, place much of the acquisition debt onto the business itself,
I didn't have a burger, I had nuggets.
Fees, dividends, or an eventual sale, turning brands built over decades into financial assets where the strongest financial incentives no longer come from providing affordable food, but from raising fees, cutting labor, shrinking portions, and replacing ingredients to increase returns. Proving that at this point, deciding which fast food chain to eat at is really just which private equity portfolio you would like to feed. And while the industry continues brushing all of this under the rug by insisting that rising food costs and broader economic conditions
have also like decent
fries. The sole reason behind increased menu prices, those pressures do not make charging higher prices, serving lower quality food, or extracting more from workers unavoidable parts of operating a successful fast food chain. To demonstrate that, I spoke with Kathy Terry, the co-founder of P. Terry's, an Austin-based hamburger chain now celebrating its 21st anniversary with 37 company-owned and operated locations and more than 1,800 employees, where she explains why so many independent chains eventually sell to private equity and why P. Terry's instead chose to establish an employee ownership trust and profit-sharing model designed to always give back to the customers and workers responsible for its success.
The issue is there's a lot of people that start a business and then they take on investors, right? They take on venture capitalists. Well, venture capitalists want their money back, right? And so they'll infuse you with a lot of capital to expand. But there's a cost with that growth, right? Then all of a sudden you have to make choices that not necessarily you would have made before, right? And it really may affect your culture because you're making decisions to grow faster than you normally would, or your culture would allow you to grow, right? But you're having to grow because they're an investor, they're a partner now, right? And so they're kind of driving the train. And usually they want out in 5 to 7 years. So they want to expand and build it up and build this asset so they can sell it to the next person. And you know, and then you get private equity, and private equity, you know, I'm sure I have a lot of friends that work in private equity, but, you know, private equity, they really just want to take your asset and they want to just, you know, dump a bunch of debt on it and they want out in 7 years, right? Like it's all about making money for their fund, making money for their investors, right? So I'm not sure they necessarily care about the culture, really. I mean, they'll say it, and they might in their heart believe it, but they're also, I mean, you know, I would question what the intention is. So an employee ownership trust is something fairly new. It came from the UK. They've done it a long time in the UK. It's fairly new in the US, but it's basically a trust that is set up for the benefit of the employees, but they don't really retain the shares. They don't hold the shares. It sits in a trust. But what it does, and the wonderful thing about it, is it protects the culture forever, for perpetuity. So basically, it's a tool that allows Patrick and I to gift shares, but also allow us to sell shares to the trust. So it allows us to get some equity out.
All right.
But the actual document itself, the purpose of the trust is to make sure that we always sell high quality burgers.
And while companies such as P. Terry's prove that a fast food business can support profit sharing, substantially higher wages, interest-free employee loans, Christmas bonuses, and even a birthday cake for every worker, all while serving locally sourced food at or below industry prices, many of the largest fast food chains continue blaming rising menu prices and declining quality on the workers asking for wages that keep up with the cost of living. Despite today's minimum wage worker earning nearly 50% less in inflation-adjusted wages than a minimum wage worker did in 1968, fast food giants such as McDonald's continue presenting wages as a leading driver of higher prices, even after raising menu prices by more than 100% over the last decade and spending roughly $2 billion on stock buybacks in 2025. Meanwhile, Starbucks blamed wage pressures for higher prices while awarding its CEO a compensation package worth roughly $96 million after only 4 months on the job. The company also provided him with private jet travel for both business and personal use, and paid for his housing in Seattle after he chose not to relocate from California, proving that the industry can always find billions of dollars for shareholders and executives, but somehow treat workers asking for enough to afford rent as the greatest threat to affordability.
When I first started, anybody that knew me, I was super, super shy. I wouldn't have tried anything new,
my God.
you know? I gained a lot of confidence working here. It was really nice to be able to grow within the company within these past 10 years. Just starting as a crew member and then becoming a shift lead and joining the training team and getting to train like 10 people at a time. It really helped me gain confidence and just knowing that they like would give me opportunities to grow like that as from 17 to now. It's just been truly a blessing. Like I'm really appreciative of everything that they've done.
And so what I hope that we're beginning to recognize is that maybe beyond like job search platforms, the fast food industry is as greedy as it possibly gets. There is absolutely no reason why fast food companies cannot give us as affordable meals as possible, cannot pay their employees fair wages. There's absolutely no reason why we can't get the food in a relatively decent time. And more importantly, there's absolutely no reason why the food that we receive, even though it is more on the affordable side of things, isn't decent quality. Like, I think that if you recognize the fact that your grandparent was able to receive a cheaper meal by people that were paid more in a far quicker time, and it was healthier, not the most healthy thing ever, but healthier than what it is that we're receiving now. I don't understand why not every single one of us isn't stopping, hasn't boycotted or hasn't stopped going to fast food. Like the stat says, 62% of Americans are eating less fast food. Isn't stopped. So that means that the majority of us are still going at least once or twice a week, probably demanding it from them. You know, and I just want to do a message for all of the people out there that are, I get hit with it so much, that are so anti-minimum wage. You know, you are not paid to be these companies' accountants.
Oh my God.
We're in this issue, broadly speaking, as other local companies that, or local institutions that have really been able to kind of help support me, and that I feel like I always want to be able to contribute. Because again, I think that we need to stop talking about all of the companies that are doing bad.
You go there if you
the ones that are doing good. Obviously,
are like lazy and just
after every
want
one of my
something
videos,
special
I
or
like to go
whatever.
there. I celebrate as soon as I publish it. When I hit 1,000 subscribers, when I hit 100,000 subscribers, 200,000, it would have been 300 if I was here in Austin.
Okay, this guy just yaps